Oh, I need to post this everywhere.
That would be lovely. We did get for that whole thing, we got like a really good phone number, though it might be confusing if people hear me now because we've gone live because it's not the phone number we're using today. But for the debate shows, we got literally 619 debates is one of our
Nice.
phone numbers now. And 619 is also like a recognizable fucking. Oh, I shouldn't have sworn it so early.
Man,
Yeah, fuck
now
it.
it's ruined.
Fuck her. All right. Oh yeah, just put us live. Let's just go. Let's just go. I gotta build an intro for this. I still gotta build one for the Devangelicals. I got all kinds of stuff I gotta do. I got all kinds of work I gotta do, guys. There's
Is
so
that
much work to
another
do.
bruise on your arm? Or
Which
did you get a
where?
tattoo?
So I've got one here because I got blood drawn the other day, but that
No,
one's
go
maybe
like,
hard to see. You're just wanting this one is the one from last week. It's still going. It's still
what
that's
is
3 weeks. That
happening?
means remember because you saw it the
Yeah, I
Monday
know.
prior. That's how long
Yeah.
it's taking bruises of mine to freaking. But where was the new one that you thought you saw? Was it that one?
When you were like stretching your arms back, I thought it looked like maybe I'm making it. Yes.
Yo,
Oh my God, there's a big one. No, other side. Anyways,
I'm pretty sure
welcome
I'm
welcome to the
dying.
show,
I think,
everybody.
guys. I
Yeah.
think I'm
But
dying.
only on that side, I guess.
I'm dying only on my right side. I'm
Okay.
so left that the right side of my
Mm,
body is
it's
actually
rejecting itself.
dying. Welcome to Calling It Now. You can call us now if you disagree with us on stuff. I got to tell you, some of the people who call in early are often not the best representation of the right. So if you want to be one of the good ones, if you want to be our token good Republican friend, you should call in at that phone number, which is 336-543-2101. If you're watching right now, double click the screen to leave a like. Hit that like on there. That will get this into more people's feeds. More people will see us. And that's the way it is. Are you okay, Jimmy? I don't know. We're doing tests to find out. This is like a legitimate, I actually don't know. Literally, I
We're
have
laughing because there's no alternative while we wait, right?
I have a thing on my neck that's growing that we're
Oh my
pretty
God,
sure
when you say it like that.
is just we're pretty sure it's just a lipoma, but I finally got ultrasounded on it. But it's bit you can actually see it with the naked eye. Like it hasn't gotten huge like some lipomas on some people, but it's big enough that now if you just look at the back of my neck, you can see it popping out. I get the
You're like a
ultrasound done the other day.
Labrador retriever.
I know. Well, and part of it is these fatigue spells that we haven't been able to explain yet why they're happening. Why I like there's some general things I'm quite vitamin D deficient, but that's more like a baseline of fatigue you would expect, not like these attacks that I get that like they're like painful level of fatigue. Anyway, that's a whole thing that's happening and we're kind of looking into it, and I've just got this lipoma, and what's crazy is my partner has fingered it a bunch. She's touched it a bunch. It's getting kind of big.
Please, why do we have the phrasing?
Phrasing. She fingers my lipoma a lot.
Oh my
But
God.
I've
It's a
the
sentence I
only
never needed.
it actually happened on Saturday, which was wild. I was like, wait, I can't get a freaking allergy appointment for months out, but I can just go get an ultrasound this Saturday. But it turns out it's because on the weekend they have radiology open for the ER. So when you go, you have to check in at the ER, which is a nightmare for me because I'm like, oh, cool. My weak immune system will love being around people who are here and like probably infected with stuff, and so I'm like trying to keep my distance from everybody, and because you have to wait in the ER for them to call you back. Anyway, they found the only information she was able to show me, because she's the tech, she's not the radiologist, so I don't know much yet, but was that it in fact is not one but two lipomas. I have two of them back there, and they do look like they're made of fatty tissue and not. It looks like it's the kind of tumor. If you have to have a tumor, it's the kind of tumor you want to have. It's not the tumor. However,
I don't,
the thing is it's in a place where you don't have room for even a benign thing, and so maybe we're trying to figure out if it's pushing on nerves or something and related to these symptoms I'm having. So there's all
yeah.
that shit. And then I'm just bruising, randomly bruising. I don't know where these things are coming from. Babe, did we see this one before today? Is this new to us?
No, I
Was
thought we
this there
saw
last
it the
night?
other day.
And you're not talking about this one? You're not talking about the one on the front of the arm?
Yeah.
That one we talked about.
Yeah, this one's on week 3. All right, well, at least this one's not new. I can't keep track of these. I have been
That's
doing wood
wild.
shop stuff, so I think I'm just getting poked.
But that's
And my
quite
body
the
is just like,
response
oh,
to a
small poke? Yeah, small
Yeah.
poke. Let's make it look like you got beat up.
Yeah. This is making
Yeah.
me really sad for you.
Does my back bruise, babe? I don't know. You'd have to tell me, dearest.
I don't think so.
I wasn't referring to promise when I said, okay.
I'm sitting here like super silent waiting. Where are
everybody
you?
else is being like, that's wow. I'd hate to work at that hostile workplace. All right. Anyway, we're going to get talking. We've got one person waiting on the line who wants to talk about abortion. However, I know that they are a repeat caller. Is Lucian at the point where we make people pay to take it?
I think we talked to Lucian last week, right?
Did we?
I think so.
I know we talked to people last week that we asked to call this week because they waited till the end of the show.
I don't think that
There's
was
also
that
two
was somebody
different
else.
Lucians.
What's that? There's
also-
multiple
there's
Lucians.
two
Well, this
different
one has
ones.
10 calls, it says.
I think that we talked to Lucian about abortion last week.
Okay.
But I think, knowing me, I probably said go get a better argument and then call back. So maybe Lucian got a better argument, which great.
Oh, yeah. One last thing before we start jumping into calls. People, if you want to debate why women should be Christian, why abortion is wrong, why whatever, we take the leftist position on those things. We don't believe in God. You can call in and argue with us on any of those issues. One of the things, feel free if y'all want. It was kind of a mess to watch the debate from last Friday. But Javon and I did debate Euro and travel and a racist Gandalf guy. And by the way, that's what he told us was some people make his nickname. I will tell you off the jump. He wasn't. I was told by Euro that he was bringing a veteran who's like his facts and figures guy. He comes with the stats, and then he just swapped in racist Gandalf without telling me it was a different person when he was sending me like his info and shit. And so, but to me, it's not like I consume his channel. I thought I was getting his like co-host who was supposed to be the challenge. He was literally just the most hormonal old man who could not take the slightest thing. And by the way, ironically, is the first person to blow up because I said something along the lines of they made a point about trans people masculinity. And I said, I think they both know that that was a disingenuous and stupid point. And he flipped out at me saying stupid, starts swearing, starts throwing a middle finger, but we can't understand what the fuck he's saying because neither of them had figured out their production despite being told in advance they should come with a proper microphone and camera. The production shit was, there's a 10-minute period where we walk Euro through how to create a stream key for YouTube because he was streaming to the wrong one. Anyway, wrong video. The debate was kind of a mess. It was the first debate of a format that I'm glad we did it with somebody that it just ended up not mattering that much. His own people on his comment section are telling him he lost.
Oof.
They're basically like, you weren't ready for this. They have too much experience, which, okay, fair. I kind of feel like, here's the thing. I kind of feel like I did the thing I said where it's like, how good do I look if I'm a boxer and I box a 10-year-old? But in this scenario, it's like,
God.
I boxed a 10-year-old who does have like a following and a fan base who think like them and are like, actually 10-year-olds are the best. Anyway, it was a whole thing. It was the debate. We'll probably put some clips out on it. But I know how I'm going to fix the format. There's certain things that were confusing beyond the fact that they were just technologically incompetent, the pair of them. There are a couple of things that need fixing. I'm going to very much simplify that clarifying question round. I'm just going to get rid of it. And it's just going to be ask the question and then 3 rounds of 90 seconds with rebuttals. So it's just going to be person calls in and then 90 seconds, 90 seconds, 90 seconds, 90 seconds, 90 seconds, 90 seconds, rebut or response, rebut, rebut. That's going to be the easiest part. And then probably like a 5-minute open dialogue last section. I don't feel victorious because they were so bad at it. And
That's
in
a bummer.
fairness, Euro wasn't good at it, but he wasn't. He
As bad as.
I literally sent him a voice note on Instagram after. Here's how caring I am. I'm like, look, man, whatever the other stuff is, that dude you brought with you is a liability. And if your goal is growth, which I don't know why I'm giving my opposition advice on how to grow, I was like, you need to drop that shit, dude. That dude is a whiny, emotional, hormonal, can't control himself piece of shit. Anyway, and also literally every time he would make an argument ad populum. I go, do you know what an argument ad populum is? Nope. Do you know what Gish Galloping is? Nope. What is like, he doesn't know. Euro didn't know any. Like, you fancy yourself a debater. You don't even know like what debate tactics. And it's good to learn them because you want to avoid them. You want to avoid obviously bad debate tactics. Anyway, anybody else who wants to, so Liquidy Shit said you should do at least 2-minute rebuttals. 90 seconds feels really rushed. That's why I'm going to stick to the 90 seconds. That's why having the 5-minute open dialogue at the end will be better. What's really funny is the debate went terrible for them. There were technological issues. We did make one technological mistake. It wasn't fun, but considering how the bar for our technological success was we needed to simultaneously manage and produce 3 streams at the same time using a software that integrated everything. And their bar for success was they need to successfully connect to Zoom, which they apparently didn't bother to test at all beforehand, despite saying it would be good. Anyway, it was it's funny that while I think everybody agrees it was kind of a shit show, weirdly everybody is still like, but it was really entertaining. And that almost hurts me more because I don't want people to be like, actually, the debate was bad, but I loved it because of how entertaining it was. I want to figure out how to entertain people with good debates.
Yeah, but that's going to be really hard when you're with the topics that you're going over, because it's some of the topics themselves, the fact that we even have to debate them, like the fact that we have a caller that's going to call in and talk to us about abortion, to me is wild. Like in my day-to-day life, somebody that I were to come across, I would be like, I'm not even debating it with you. Like, we are doing this here because it's good for other people to hear these conversations. But there's so many things that I think at this point, it's 2026. This is like not up for debate. I mean, here I am on the show where it is up for debate, and that's the point of this. But but these people have to be, we have to have conversation and show what these conversations, how they actually play out when they're confronted with somebody that has an opposing view and actual facts. But I do think the entertainment factor is going to happen, even if you get somebody that's really professional and, knows how to stay civil and properly debate. I still think it's going to be difficult because there's a certain point where you're going to hit dishonesty, and that's almost always entertaining, I think. So.
And cornering people with the questions they don't know how to answer. And on that note, let's bring on our first caller. Reminder, if you want to call and debate us on topics that affect women, MAGA, the left, political topics, religious topics, we are happy to take the position of the leftist and the atheist. I'm trying to decide. I doubt you want. Maybe it'll be tomorrow's show. At some point, I'm going to need to debate some of these liberals and even leftists who think that it is obvious that this thing that happened on Saturday was staged. No, it wasn't. And you're making us look like conspiracy-minded fucking pieces of shit right now. But I don't know if, we'll get to it eventually. Anyway.
I'll cheer for you, but not my battle.
Lucian in Texas, pronouns he, him. Lucian, how old are you? Lucian in Texas. Lucian, can you see that our audio is piping in? Is there an issue? Do. Lucian, producer, can you hear me?
I hear you.
When you go to the browser that shows the little microphone and speaker for the call system, do you see that when I'm talking, the microphone is moving?
Yes.
So Lucian can hear us. Do you
Does
hear
Lucian need to tap on their, like, could they be calling from a...
No, they're calling from their phone number. Will you call the show again real quick, Lucian? Let's just double check it and make sure that this is not, before I accuse this as a continuation of MAGA incompetence technologically. Let's just cover our own bases, lest I be embarrassed. I sure do hear you. Do you hear us?
Yep.
And you're on a different device than the phone system is, yes?
I'm on my computer.
On the Mac, not on the... Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, that's weird. That's real weird. All right, returning you to the screening room. Let's try again. Lucian in Texas, did you figure your shit out? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was on the phone with my mother.
Weird. All right. Hear me? Yeah, sure do. All right, Lucian, how old are you?
I'm 18.
You're not the one who months back called in and you yelled at your mom while you were on the phone, right?
No, that wasn't me.
Are you sure? I think that was you. She came in your room and you were mad at her for it.
But I don't think that was me, no.
Okay, not sure though. All right. All right, Lucian. What point do you want to make?
Okay, so can I just want to ask like a series of questions. Let's do this Socratic method time.
No.
No,
you can't. You're calling in to present. You're calling in to present your point, and then maybe we can get to the Socratic method. I might decide I want to ask my questions to you, but no, you're not the host of the show. So, what
You're
point
right.
are you? Which position are you wishing to defend?
Okay, so fetuses are humans, right? So the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it applies to them. And I believe it's a human. It's a member of the human species.
Right.
So the thing that says Declaration of Human Rights, that human part,
no.
you know, the human part in human rights, it applies to all humans.
But they don't get more. They don't get more rights than any other humans either, which is what you would be advocating for. So
that's a separate position that definitely I'm going to let Promise go with. But actually, you are incorrect. It doesn't apply to all humans. There are many instances when, for example, in times of war, in times of repercussions for certain crimes, for individuals who have reached brain death, that in fact merely having Homo sapien DNA does not declare you as a person entitled to all human rights. In fact, there are lots of things with Homo sapien DNA. For example, the afterbirth, the stuff that you're actually, the placenta has Homo sapien DNA. It also has no rights because it's not just enough to be Homo sapien. It's not just enough to be alive. It means you have to have reached personhood. So there is a difference between being a human and a human being. And so, no, you are quite incorrect that just for having Homo sapien DNA, you are entitled to human rights. That is not true.
A placenta is an organ, though. That's not an organism.
A placenta is, you are the one setting the bar so low and saying that it is clear that if it's a Homo sapien, what is a human if not a living thing with Homo sapien DNA? And again, I just gave to you somewhat tellingly wanted to get specific to the organ when I gave you actually multiple examples of Homo sapiens who are human beings who don't even have the right to not die.
What do you mean? The right to not die? What independent human organism has the right to die? You know, I mean,
the right to die is not the same as not having the right to not die. All of Iran and Gaza would like a word with you. We have lots of instances where we decide that even civilians who are innocent do not have a right to not die.
Well, they have the right to life as well. Civilians have the right to
life. No, they
don't.
They definitely don't, because we killed them and nobody... Okay, great. What justice is going to happen for the civilians who died in Gaza? Since there is a right,
Well, I don't
somebody
know.
has violated that right. Who's going to get punished for it?
I mean, I believe Israel's a terrorist organization. So,
Okay, great. What about America? America just killed a bunch of 150 schoolgirls in Iran on a civilian target that was a known civilian target. Because of their laziness and not verifying their targets, 150 civilian children died. How will they be getting justice?
I don't know. I guess we have to find out how to get the Israelis and the foreign lobby out of government. So then,
Except for we don't.
Won't.
Except for that we don't and we won't, because in America, if you are at war, civilian casualties, you do not have the right to not be a civilian casualty. Lucian, you've already lost this, and we haven't even gotten to promises argument, which smokes you completely. Because at the end of the day, Lucian, if you are a foreign combatant, you don't get a right to life, even if you are a civilian. If you are in the same country as people who are fighting somebody, you don't get a right to life. You're not going to get to talk over me, Lucian. You've never been good at this, and you're even worse at interrupting me. If you are an individual who has reached brain death, you don't have a right to life, and yet you are a human. You were a human being. But if you have reached brain death, or you are even if you haven't hit,
Holocaust victims have the right to life, Jimmy?
Hey, Lucian, you're literally reaching for Holocaust, but that's not a difficult one to answer.
The Palestinians and Iranians, they don't have the right to life because the Jews killed them. So what about the Jews that were killed?
Can I ask,
Lucian, you're a fucking moron, because literally what you are describing is true. I don't give a fuck about an ad hominem. You're a fucking moron. You're literally invoking the Holocaust. You are quite correct. The government of Hitler's government, you fucking moron, did not extend the right to life to Jews in the Holocaust.
What did they have the right to life?
They did not. And the grave injustice was that they did not have the right to life. You fucking idiot. Jesus Christ.
So you believe
also, so Lucian, what about when somebody comes in and, like, if there's a school shooter and they end up getting shot, did they have the right to life in that moment when they're trying to take the life of other people?
So you guys believe that Nazis have
I just
the
asked you a
ability to
question,
take
Lucian. I just asked you a question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does that,
I mean, you're on the
does
side
that
of Nazis
person,
and school shooters, so I don't know.
does that
Hey,
person
Lucian,
have
fuck
the
you
right
in your
to
fucking
life?
face. Fuck you in your absolute fucking face. You're on the side of Nazis, you little bitch. Where do rights come? Hey, Lucian, who extends rights? Where do you get your rights from? Who do you extend rights, you fucking idiot? Who do you get your rights extended from?
Who do I get my rights from?
Correct.
Well, rights
come from?
They don't come from the government. Just because the government
yes, they do. Yes, you do. So fundamentally, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Your rights absolutely come from a government.
You get your rights from social contracts?
Yes. How do you not understand how this works?
And social contracts are independent of bad governments or retardation. So if I believe someone has the right to life.
I'm sorry. Are you now trying to? No. All right. Welcome to the ban list. You will never be on the show again. You're banned from all because you're literally trying to drop R slurs. Why are you trying to drop slurs on my fucking channel? You fucking idiot. You've already shown you're an idiot, and now you're trying to drop slurs. Is this your fucking channel, bitch?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, fuck you in your fucking face. You're blocked from all the shows. Fuck you. You're a fucking idiot. Fucking moron. Of course rights come from the government. You fucking idiot. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm tired of Lucian. I'm sorry, Promise. I know you probably wanted to have... Lucian's literally an incel groiper douchebag.
He wasn't going to answer my question. I asked a very simple question, and he immediately said that we're on the side of Nazis instead of answering my question because he knew that already answering that question was already going to put him in a bad spot. So that's okay.
By the way, the person who never was my argument, if it was an ad hominem fallacy would be, don't listen to him because he's an idiot.
Because he's, but you...
I never made that.
Right.
This man
had an actual argument.
literally used a red herring fallacy. His argument was, therefore, you're on the other side of Nazis, which isn't true and is a fallacy to jump to. Oh, so you're a Nazi. Oh, so you're a Nazi. It's actually multiple fallacies, among which is a red herring. But anyway, I'm going to let all the producers know Lucian now banned for slur use. What a fucking little bitch. Lucian, Texas, now banned. 18-year-old. By the way, he was the kid who melted down. Get out of my room, Mom. Get out of my room. Mom, get out of my room. If you're going to call in and start with telling us how you're going to run the show and we're going to do the line of questions the way you want, and then you're going to go with, so you're the side of Nazis, and fundamentally, you're calling in to talk about rights. You don't even know where rights come from. Of course, rights come from the government. You can go with go ahead.
I was shocked that he didn't claim they come from God, because that would have just been
Well, we know that's deep down
fun.
what he wanted to say. But then if he says that and there is no God, we have no rights. And there isn't a God. So we don't have any rights from anything other than what we agree to. It doesn't make them arbitrary. In fact, the most arbitrary morals are the ones extended by a God. People think it's like, it just goes like this. Somebody says, that's immoral. Or they say to me, well, you're an atheist, so what makes killing immoral? Okay, cool. We can literally have a discussion about why that would be immoral, why we should prefer well-being over to non-well-being, life over non-life. Right. We can defend and go, it's not arbitrary to anything except the universe. The universe doesn't fucking care, but we're the people who give meaning. So as the meaning givers, what do we give meaning to? What is the thing that is the most important? And so you have that discussion and we will actually defend why it's good. And they'll just go, no, murder's wrong because God says it's wrong. Okay, great.
This is what Seth and I dealt with yesterday. And they started defending slavery. Shockingly, that's where it always goes.
My question would be, what's God's justification for murder being wrong? Right? You can't just say, well, he just says it's wrong. Okay, why? Why does he say it's wrong? It's like when people say, well, I like the simpler answer. God created the universe. Great. How? He decided, okay, great. What happened? Like his thought, what did his thought do to atoms? How did he cause the Big Bang? Like what was the actual process by which his thought turned into physics? It's less of an answer. We've had multiple people call in and they're hanging up. It's actually less of an answer. Morals from God is less than an answer. Everybody should defend why something is better than another when it comes to morals, when it comes to why something. Oh yeah, people definitely hit the share button and copy it. There is no explanation in saying God did anything, because it would be like saying like, hey, the theory of evolution is why life showed up, and people are like, great, explain that to me. The theory of evolution did it. Right, but how did that work? Evolution. No, I hear you. What was the mechanics that evolution did it with? By doing it. Evolution did it.
Right.
What do you mean? It just was evolution. That's what it was. That's their God argument. That is literally it. God did it. Okay, how? God, he just did it. He just did it. And then some of them will go, well, his ways are so advanced we wouldn't understand. Speak for yourself, idiot. Like,
right.
I don't know that I wouldn't understand. I don't know that I'm not God, because you have done such a poor job at defining God. You actually haven't even eliminated the possibility that I'm him. Just here to test your faith and see if you'll remain faithful in the eyes of my challenges. And here's the thing, guys. I don't want to be, crazy, but I am God.
Do you want to see actually who's God? I had to make this argument a few times yesterday.
What is this?
Isn't she cute?
Yeah.
I don't know. I bought her from an artist who made her.
I was going to say, it looks Finnish. There's something about it where I'm like,
I got it in Portugal.
Well,
actually,
that Portugal person got there from, I should have just said European. It looks like the kind of things you get in the handcrafties in Europe.
But it was so funny. Some of these like super serious older dudes that called us yesterday and they're trying to make their argument for a God. And I was like, they're like, well, God's the one that did all this. And they're going on and on. I'm like, actually, no, it was her.
Right.
And they couldn't argue against. I was like, prove that it wasn't.
Anyway, if anybody wants to not melt down, resort to slurs and use the stupidest chain of like, oh, then you're on the same side of the Nazis. Literally, It doesn't even make sense. So you do have a right, even if the Nazis decide you don't and kill you on that basis. We, other countries, decided that the way in which they were extending rights were unjust and those rights were wrong. And we interfered because the injustice was so, actually we interfered because America wasn't the good guys in World War II because they wanted to be the good guys. We were the good guys because they hit Pearl Harbor and we had to mostly look like the strongest people. And then we committed an actual absolutely horrific war crime to swing our dick around. But anyway, there are people who recognize the injustice was so terrible it required violent resistance. It's incredible to me that these people they're just terrible at making their arguments. All right, we'll talk to Jordan. Jordan in Maine, you're on the line with Jimmy and Promise. Jordan, how old are you?
I'm 30.
Hello, Jordan. What point did you call in to make?
I called in to discuss how classical leftism is seen as extreme conservatism now, and I think that the left has really alienated a lot of their supporters, and I think that calling all of them MAGA is probably not very sensitive to the actual political landscape right now.
Who'd you vote for in 2024?
I didn't vote.
Who'd you vote for in 20?
I didn't vote.
Who'd you vote for in 16? Could you vote then?
I didn't. I tried to vote for Bernie Sanders.
So all in all, it says here you're a libertarian.
Yeah.
So all in all, you've got concerns, but I got to tell you that I have a concern that it sounds like you're calling in to tell us the way things need to change, but you don't even see the urgency of the situation we're in to actually participate in the least way you could.
Okay, well, I'm participating in the least way that I could right now by calling in. So
this is actually more than voting. You could have voted.
Okay,
I don't know. It's hard for me to take seriously whatever criticism a person wants to make if they didn't.
That's fine for you to say that.
If they didn't participate.
Are you aware?
Is it fine? You keep not letting me actually say things.
Are you aware that?
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware of the auto pen situation?
Uh-huh.
Right. So Biden wasn't actually signing his executive orders, right?
Not all of them, but yes, he, like every president, including Trump and every president prior since the invention of the auto pen, utilized the auto pen. It doesn't mean that Biden did not approve the orders that were signed by the auto pen.
Okay. Well,
I'm actually the thing I'm much more alarmed by is the evidence that the current president signs pardons of people he doesn't know who they are, because he has gone on air right after signing pardons and saying, I don't know who these people are. So that's what we have the actual evidence of. The auto pen is a tradition that has gone on for a long time. There is no problem with the auto pen unless you can prove that people are using the auto pen without the president's approval, which you cannot prove.
Okay. So the Hunter Biden laptop did have emails on it.
I'm sorry, are we getting away from the auto pen then? Wait. Are we done with the auto pen?
Yeah. No, that's just one point. I'm adding a supporting point.
So you're not actually going to defend wait. Before you jump, I made wait, Jordan, before you jump, I rebutted your auto pen point. You are leaving it. Does that mean you concede your auto pen point and recognize that you were wrong?
No. What I'm saying is that
then let's not jump. Then stick to it. Then rebut.
Right.
Nope. Rebut. Rebut my point.
My rebuttal would be that the reality of the presidency is that they're being extremely influenced by whoever they need to work with to get into their position.
I'm sorry, that's not an auto pen rebuttal at all.
Regardless.
Wait, no, Jordan.
Regardless.
The beep is you being muted because you're trying to not engage at all honestly. You lost on auto pen. I asked you whether or not you're conceding on auto pen. You said no. I said then let's not leave it. rebut it. Rebut my point about the auto pen. You then said my rebuttal to the auto pen point is, and then you brought up something about being influenced. Everybody's fucking influenced. In fact, I would be devastated to find out that you had a president who takes no counsel. You know how I know? Because Donald Trump keeps saying that's him, that he decides what he wants to do based on the feeling. So the people who are successfully influencing him are the ones who are tricking him into thinking their ideas are his own. The person who's probably the most skilled at that seems to be Stephen Miller. Seems to be able to convince Donald Trump that his ideas were Trump's ideas. So anyway, Jordan, you said you do not concede on the auto pen point. So come back to the auto pen point and rebut what I said, which is that the auto pen is not a problem unless it is shown, unless the president, for example, Biden, when all this stuff came out and was exposed, unless there is proof that the auto pen was used without Biden's authority, without his approval, without him knowing what he was signing. It's very, very simple. So go ahead, Jordan, and provide your rebuttal.
Yeah, well, it's not legal to use an auto pen for an executive order. So that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day.
Wait, then why did you make that point if it's neither here nor there?
Everybody around.
No,
I'm
stop, Jordan.
Jordan, did you listen to anything that Jimmy just said?
I'm talking about the cultural influence, because I'm not a politics guy, but I know something about culture, and I'll tell you what it is about culture is that
No, you won't. You're gonna mute. You are being a coward right now, Jordan. You are being an intellectual coward. You're making a point, and then I rebut it, and you go, well, that's neither here nor there, and you try to go on to another point. If it wasn't here nor there, why did you say it? So now we're going to come back to you. Jordan, answer this question. Is it legal to use an auto pen for an executive order?
I'm not saying that that's a smoking gun, but what I'm
Jordan,
saying is that...
Can you answer his question,
to use an auto pen for an executive order?
Look, again, I told the call
This is a
person
yes or no question, Jordan. It's so easy. If you want the rest of the call to go well, then you need to show signs of being honest and actually listening.
Jordan,
and the fact that you're just talking and talking and talking is wild.
Then why did you bring it up, Jordan? Jordan, why did you bring it up? Why did you say it's illegal? Why did you lie and say it's illegal?
I don't vote.
Hey, Jordan.
Because the reason why I don't vote is
because you're uninformed.
I do not believe that most of these politicians are even making the decisions when they're in office. And yet you are making claims that show that nope. Jordan, that beep was you being muted again. You try to talk every time we talk and you are complaining about your participation here. We're hearing you out much more. We're only cutting you off when you're not allowing us to engage back. So Jordan, you're still muted. No one can hear you. Save your breath. Don't bother talking. You brought up points, and now you're saying, now that those points aren't winning points for me, I would like to get to something else that I think is going to win. The reason you don't vote is because you're uninformed as fuck. And you not voting, there was still a president, even though you didn't vote. So you should have participated in picking the lesser of two evils if you see both sides as evil. Not everybody does. I do see both sides as evil, and you didn't participate in that way. But at the end of the day, Jordan, you don't vote, you don't participate, and now you want us to take you seriously, despite the fact that all we have tried to do is engage the question that, or the point you have made so far. And in this case, you brought up the auto pen. You said the auto pen situation is bad. I said it's not bad, unless you can prove that the auto pen was used against the will and knowledge of the president. I asked for evidence of that. You said, well, that doesn't matter, but you made a new auto pen point. Your new auto pen point was that it is illegal to sign an executive order using the auto pen. That's not ever been true. And in fact, in 2005, that was actually reaffirmed. That executive orders, as long as the bill is signed because the president directed a subordinate to use the auto pen, it is perfectly legal.
Oh, did he run away?
Yes, of course he did. I don't know. Yeah, okay, it looks like he did. So Jordan called in and is complaining that his points are being engaged. I didn't call him an idiot like I called Lucian. All I did was try to engage his points. Listen, people, we have Promise with us. Promise, amazing ex-evangelical author. She believes that Christianity is bad for women. She believes MAGA is bad for women. Where are the people who would like to call in and defend that MAGA is good for women? That Christianity and conservatism is good for women?
Why should I want to live in a MAGA country? Why would that be good for me? Or tell me why I should come back to Christianity.
Have an actual argument for what would make abortion immoral or violating rights that don't invoke emotional, dumb arguments and or slurs. That guy was actually being allowed to make his dumb arguments. He was banned for his slurs. Yeah. The sad thing about that call from Jordan just now is like, that
you just gave him really great education on how to have a conversation too. I wish he could have put it to use.
Lucian, are we getting those calls screened? And yeah, okay. Calls are coming in, they're being screened. It felt like Friday all over again. I don't want these ones that are easy layups.
Well, the thing is, they're not engaging at all. That's what's so frustrating. We'll ask a very straightforward yes or no. You asked a yes or no question, and they won't answer it. They want to go off already on some other, they're like, well, that point isn't working, so now let me try this one. Or now let me ask them this personal thing. Or now let me throw this out. And they can't actually get into the conversation to begin with so that we could hear more of their points. I'm sure there's some people listening that are like, oh, you're not letting them talk. If someone can answer our initial questions, then they get to talk more. Basically, the more honest you are up front in the conversation, the more we'll let you have.
Yep. 1 second.
But so far,
I'm sending Alyssa a text about the show later. Yeah, you keep vamping, you keep talking. Feel free to reply to a super chat while these calls get screened.
Great. Billy sent us a super chat for $199.99. Thanks so much, Billy. Holy crow. Jordan is one of the most dishonest callers I've heard in a bit. He just wants to rant like your drunken uncle at a holiday family dinner. Yeah, I think that's what's so frustrating is we're here ready to engage and have a conversation, like I was just saying, and these people are just they just want a microphone for a second, but they don't want to put their faces up. They don't want to actually have to build a platform, any of that, which is totally fine. That's why you get to just call in. But then we expect you to actually engage in conversation. Anyways, thank you so much, Billy. And then what else? There was more. Guys, I'm still learning how to read super chats. Liquidy, what a great username. I knew you were going to have a voice to read that in. Voting is the bare minimum an eligible American can do. If you can't be bothered to participate in the least way possible, then your opinion means less than nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody's asking how they can call. The number's on the screen. It's 336-543-2101.
Maybe start clarifying that it's more of an interview than a debate. No, it's a lot of things. It's mostly a conversation. It often becomes a debate, but this is our job and we've done it for a while in our experience. Random people who are just thinking like when what's his face called in, that wasn't when Lucian called in and was like, we're going to do it this way that wasn't like him right. Going like, I want an equal balanced way we're doing this. That was him going, I want to be in charge and tell you how this is going to go. We don't gather the audience to be like, you know who should host? Not us. We're not experienced. People get to make their point if they act in good faith. Literally, that last caller, Jordan, talked over every time we spoke, either of us. At least he's not sexist. He was an equal opportunity douchebag.
Just completely ignoring everything.
Actually engage in good faith, answer the questions that are asked of you. You'll get your time and stuff, and don't try to run roughshod, as they say.
Yeah, and this doesn't have to be like this isn't some formal debate. It's also not an interview. It's like you said, it's a conversation. Like if you and I were disagreeing about something, we would go back and forth, and hopefully one is trying to hear what the other one is saying, and the other one says, like, it feels weird having to teach grown adults that are calling in how to have a conversation.
All right, let's do this. Tamika in Texas, you're on the line with Jimmy and Promise. Tamika, we've got about 1,500 people watching. Would you like them to refer to you as a he, a she, a they, or something else?
She is fine. I'm not offended in any way.
Okay, she will work. And what point are you calling in to make?
She was mentioning how if Christianity is good for women. And the point I wanted to make is I can see why women would think Christianity isn't good for us, because it's often viewed through the lens of being depressed or, not having a valid role in there. I think what I get from Christianity and just reading the Bible is grace. And I think we've missed a lot of that in the new, quote unquote, Christianity that's kind of wrapped in white supremacy, unfortunately. Women played a valid role in the Bible, and I think that we missed that. I think that although I may not agree with everybody else's choices, if God gives us free will, then I shouldn't impose my will on someone else. And I think obviously we are there to agree to disagree, but God says, with love and kindness have I drew people. Why would people want to be a Christian if it's met with what it's being met with now?
We're getting off track. So let's pick one. So you think that Christianity is good for women because you get something out of it. Is it true that Christianity has also been used to abuse women, to treat them as property? It defends rape. It defends treating them as property. And has it been used to justify that throughout history?
Absolutely. And that
right.
is the problem.
To me, I don't want anything to do with any of that. So I don't need that book at all. It's not helpful. If I have to cherry pick it so hard that I have to leave out most of it in order to get something kind of okay, then I would much rather read a bunch of other books that I have that give me all kinds of really helpful wisdom or facts about reality, things about relationships, things about whatever my interests are, where I don't have to skip over things that have been used to abuse women for as long as those words have been there.
Yeah. Tamika, you say that they played a great role, a great diminished role. The Bible establishes, Tamika, you said your pronouns are she, her. I'm going to assume you're a woman. Promise is a woman. If I took a non-religious filtered biblical view, read the book as the book is, you and Promise are property. And in fact, neither of you, according to 2 Timothy, are allowed to teach me anything about the Bible. And you are, in fact, Tamika, violating a biblical principle by sharing your thoughts on the Bible with me, a man. Did you know that?
Yes. And again, I believe with the Old Testament and New Testament, those things are true in some aspect and obviously not in others. Right.
But then why,
why
would I want to follow something that only has some truths and has a lot of lies in it? How is that valuable? It's tainted at that point.
Well, see, I don't feel that anything, again, the Bible is inspired, right, by God's word. So we
I don't believe that it, hold on, Tamika. I don't believe that the Bible was inspired by a God. I don't believe a God exists. I think that men wrote the Bible.
Absolutely. They did write the Bible. But that, your belief is that God had no influence on that. And that is your valid,
hold on. I don't believe that a God exists. So sure, I don't believe that a God had anything to do with the Bible.
And may I ask why you don't think God exists?
Why what?
May I ask why you don't think God exists?
I have no reason to think that a God does exist.
Yeah, it's pretty simple for me, actually. Most of the atheists you're going to talk to are just, there's not a good reason. I'll add, there's also great reasons to believe he doesn't exist, that humans invented him, like a lot of other things.
Especially if you're referring to the evangelical God, like the all-loving, all-powerful, all-knowing God, I'll tell you, that God most certainly doesn't exist just based on that description alone. It's impossible for that God to exist.
Do you think that the New Testament, based on something you said earlier, Tamika, I'm wondering if you think the New Testament is more accurate and a better source of truth than the Old Testament?
I do personally.
Okay. Which version of the Bible do you read?
I'm not really big on the King James version just because it's just not.
Sure. I don't need to know which ones you don't like. Which ones are you good with? Do you like the New International Version?
I like the Message Bible, the New International, yeah.
New International is fine? Okay. So do you remember earlier I told you that the Bible prohibits women from teaching, and you don't like that because it's an Old Testament teaching? You think that that's easier to dismiss?
No, I don't. And that's the thing. I think just like anything else, there are the Bible is also historical in some aspects as well, because that was the nature of the world at that time.
That's a different point. That's a different topic. So I just want to stick on this for a second. So if you were to find out that that point I made earlier is actually from the New Testament, would that shake your faith at all, or would it not change anything any point you made about New Testament versus Old Testament?
It wouldn't change how I feel about it, just because I think also that my faith is more about relationship as well.
Would it undermine the point? Would you acknowledge that it undermines your point of the superiority of the New Testament over the Old Testament? That at least, even if it doesn't change you, it makes the point that you're making to other people worse?
Yeah, I can see why other people would see that, but then I also see in
Do you
the
have
New
your Bible with
Testament
you?
where there are women in the Bible. No, I'm actually in the car picking up my daughter. I'm sorry.
Are you actively driving? Because we don't take active driver calls.
No, I'm sitting waiting to pick up my daughter.
Okay. Can I read to you 2 Timothy 12?
Yes, absolutely.
This is New International Version. I do not permit a woman to teach or assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. That's New Testament. That's not Old Testament.
Right. And then are there other women in the New Testament that actually taught, led, or were queens?
But Tamika, then you're doing what I talked about. Now you're cherry picking, because now you're like, well, I don't like that. So let me go find a part where I like where I can have the thing that I think is true. So you're just kind of, it's funny, atheists get accused of being their own God, but I watch Christians do this all day long, where they sit and they become their own God. They're like, well, I don't like these parts, so maybe bring in these parts. But you asked me a question, so I want to ask you. You asked why I don't believe that a God exists. Can I ask you why you believe that a God does exist?
Just from my personal experiences, the things that I've been through, the scripture has definitely helped me being a Christian. Putting things into perspective as far as what's going on around me, the world, my own personal experiences, trauma, so on and so forth. Those things have definitely, when I read the Bible, it helps me understand more that all things work together for the good. They not
personal experience, but let me ask you, so do you think that other people should believe that this God exists?
Yes, but I also understand that I don't have to impose that, right? Again, that's my point of free will.
The Bible actually does say that you are supposed to go out and share the gospel, that you're supposed to have an answer ready at all times. Is there a chance that a God doesn't exist and you have just found that this cherry-picked version of Christianity is something that helps you cope with life?
No, I'm not convinced of that at all.
So that's not possible, you're saying? That's totally impossible.
For me, nothing is impossible.
That's not what she asked. For me,
that's not possible.
I'm asking, when it comes to reality, is it possible that you are believing in a God that doesn't actually exist because it's just helping you cope with life?
Yes, that could be possible.
Okay. Is it possible that by doing that, you're missing out on some actual real things that could help you cope better with life? That by turning
And your
to a book
example would be?
by turning to a book where you have to ignore the majority of it in order to even be allowed to have this discussion with us about the Bible. Is it possible that there are other things in life where you don't have to cherry pick through so many terrible things in order to find meaning, in order to find encouragement, in order to find community and all of that?
I think that could be possible. I think my choice is so grounded in my personal experiences with God that have been very tangible just for me.
Right, but you called in to us to say that you think Christianity is good for women, and I've pointed out a bunch. Like, so far you can't even prove that it's true, which to me is I already off the bat, if I don't know that it's true, then I certainly don't want to follow it. But I also pointed out how there's so many horrific things, so I would have to follow Tamika's specific cherry-picked version of Christianity. Oh, did we lose her?
I guess so. I guess so. Okay, I'm going to reply to this. Go ahead and move off the name tag. I want to reply to the super chat. Does Jimmy acknowledge that using a gendered slur like bitch to diminish a man reveals his own latent misogyny? If in doubt, ask yourself if you'd use that word to berate a female caller. Actually, Kathy, I think the last point you made is excellent. Would I use that to berate a female caller? And the answer is no. In fact, intentionally. In fact, I will intentionally not use bitch on women, nor do I use cunt on women, and I will use them on men. Because men, I enjoy emasculating MAGA men, but also because taking that level of, there's other slurs I would honestly use were it not for TOS, ones that I think I get to use because I am a queer man with a, we'll call it intellectual disability, if you will. But TOS is not very forgiving to those ones. But when it comes to those words, the emasculation of MAGA men, not resorting to it, and not taking those words and using them weaponized against them is very much like fighting with one arm behind your back. And I fully advise anybody who thinks that they know better to start their channel and do the better one, where you never use language that anybody can be bothered by, because it turns out every unkind word, including stupid, is an ableist slur. Idiot is an ableist slur. Moron is an ableist slur. Dumb is an ableist slur. And they go to specific groups as well. And if you're going to essentially say, I'm going to fight with those arms behind my back, you guys have fun. I'm just not going to do it. I actually enjoy that men have tried to hurt women with that word, and they're not stopping. And I enjoy showing how sensitive they are, that as they accuse women of being so emotional and so hormonal, you throw a little bitch in, or you call, as Euros, I guess Euros in chat, I don't know what he's talking about. He said I'm mad about some video he posted, but I assume it's our video. And so far, I think his own fans have showed him why I wouldn't be mad about it. Euro, you're welcome to call in. You'll have to wait in line like everybody else, but you're welcome to call in. I actually find it a very useful tool to reveal just how that individual that Euro brought with him, his racist Santa, who's sitting there in a room that looks like it should be on hoarders. Legit, did you see that video at all? Promise, did you even see screen caps?
Yes, I thought it was a meme at first.
The whole time he keeps at some point he flosses his teeth on air, which is fucking rude as shit. And then he's brushing his beard compulsively as though he cares about cleanliness. His house literally looks like it's from an episode of Hoarders. It's fucking insane. Anyway, so Jimmy is okay with slurs. Yes, some slurs. Yeah, definitely. Again, Christopher, so are you. Again, you definitely are. There isn't but there is a spectrum of what slurs and when to use and everything. Anyway, that individual was so fucking easy. All I did was call a point dishonest and stupid, and he absolutely melted down. It was wild. But Euro, you're welcome to call in at this moment. I'm not going to give you I think by switching in a person and not making that clear, and being so unprepared in the ways in which you resorted to every fallacy. At this point, I would say you are back to the status of you can call in, but I will consider if you actually bring me a co-opponent that has actual true value, I would consider it again. But you bringing that racist old piece of shit was fucking dumb. Anyway. Billy in North Carolina. Billy in North Carolina is calling in. I already know where this is going to go. Almost want to jump ahead of it. Billy in North Carolina, you are on the line with Jimmy and Promise.
Hello.
Hello.
How y'all doing?
Just fine. How old are you, Billy?
I'm 29.
And so chat knows Billy is a he, him from North Carolina, 29 years old. Who'd you vote for last election?
Yes, sir. I voted for Trump.
Did you hear it too?
Hear what?
Okay. Maybe I'm tripping. And who'd you vote for in 24? Or in 20? Trump both times?
Yeah, that's correct.
What about in 16?
I wasn't old enough to vote.
In 2016, you weren't old enough to vote?
I didn't get it registered in time.
Okay, which one is it?
I told you.
So you were old enough, but you didn't get registered in time. Was it not important to you?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, my guy. I was kind of mud bogging. I was having a good old time with my boys. So you know. But I started as time went on. I gained me a little maturity, and I grew up, and I realized, maybe this really means something. Once I saw, Hillary Clinton, then I was like, you know what? I really think this is something corrupt, and I know that the guy with the orange hair, he might rub people the wrong way, but he tells you how it is. He's a straight shooter. And
I'm gonna be honest. I think Billy's doing a character. I don't think this is his real voice.
We don't need people worrying too much about feelings in politics.
Billy, this is very clearly an accent.
What do you mean, my friend?
You're doing a fake voice. This isn't really. Are you on the right
racist.
pretending to be even more right wing, or are you on the left playing a character?
That's racist.
Nope, definitely isn't.
That's racist.
What part of
where are you from, boy?
What part of North Carolina are you from?
Well, I still live there, so there's no reason for me to tell you that. I'm not gonna
What's
have
the
you come
capital
up
of
my
North
front door.
Carolina?
Okay,
Billy, what's the capital of North
You're not gonna
Carolina?
dox
Quick.
me. I know
5.
you people hate my
What's the
type of
capital of?
people.
This is
What if I wanted to dox you? I have your phone number. I could dox you. We don't dox people. Billy, you have 5 seconds. What is the capital of North Carolina?
I'm gonna talk about the point that I agreed to debate, which is that women
So you don't know?
benefit
No.
from conservatism.
Why would Billy? You're clearly a troll. So why would we discuss it?
Well, I'll tell you the truth because
What?
the fact is that
Okay.
if my
What
daughter
state are you really from?
goes into
No, I'm not going to let you make your dumb transphobic point. We have other people lining up ready to do that anyway. You're clearly a troll. I don't care I don't have so much time to waste. We literally only have 57 minutes left to do the show. Billy, call in when you drop the fake accent and you learn the capital of North Carolina. Jesus Christ.
the state that you live in.
Sophie in Missouri. Sophie in Missouri, you are on the line with Jimmy and Promise. Sophie, how are you? Sophie, we cannot hear you. It sounds like you're like rubbing foil on your microphone.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
We sure do. Sophie, for the live chat who is here, would they refer to you as a he, a she, a they, or something else?
She, her.
Thank you very much. How old are you, Sophie?
I'm 19.
Did you vote in 2024?
Yes, I did.
Who'd you vote for?
Trump.
Okay, what point are you calling in to make?
I was originally making a point about how MAGA was good for women, but I heard your conversation with that other lady. I forget her name. I'm not good with names.
Tamika.
About Christianity. I am a Christian. I've been a Christian for my whole life. I grew up in a Christian home. My mom's a pastor. And I heard you say, I don't remember the Bible verse exactly, but the Bible verse that you were referring to about saying women aren't allowed to
teach or assume authority over men.
Right. Yes. Okay. Awesome. However, I don't want to be disrespectful or anything like that, so I'm very nervous. So if I say anything, I'm sorry if you take it the wrong way.
The bar is extremely low.
Okay. What I was gonna say is that yes. However, when you were meaning that, did you mean it in a household perspective, a worldly perspective? Like, what were you referring to that?
No, it doesn't matter what I meant it as. It actually matters what the verses meant it as. And the verses meant it was specifically talking on religious matters. And it's talking about when gathering and when it's a broad thing. You don't have authority over your husband, which already is crazy because it's establishing a hierarchy. The husband is superior to you. And it is suggesting that you, a woman, are not permitted to speak to me and assume authority to me when teaching matters of gospel principles.
Yeah. And Sophie, I'll tell you, so I grew up, sounds like at least a little bit similarly to you. My mom was also a pastor at one point, and we had a church split over it because half the church considered that to be unbiblical. And that was kind of that's why we were talking to Tamika about this, because the amount of, like I said, cherry picking you have to do in order to even reach a theology. So like what you're saying right now, I guarantee you there are going to be Christians that listen to this call. They're going to hear that I said that I had a mom that was a pastor growing up, and they're going to say that that's one of the reasons why I'm an atheist now, why I'm a heretic, because I was growing up in an unbiblical household. So I guess I can't speak for Jimmy, although I think he would agree with me. We don't really care. This doesn't impact us at all. That's why we don't fault. Like it's kind of worthless information. It's you Christians that have to figure this out between you all, because
I like exposing Christians to it. In fairness.
Of course, yeah, of course. But you guys have to grapple with that. That's not for like your theology on it and your workaround for why it's okay for your mom to be a pastor. I personally, I don't care. That's not interesting. It's other Christians that are going to have a problem with you about that.
But I want to play the game just for a minute with you, Sophie. So let me first ask you this. Have you read the Bible?
Yes, every single day.
Would you say on a grade of A through F, like you're at school, what would you say is your familiarity with the New Testament?
Maybe a C, because for most of my life,
that's okay.
My mom is a pastor.
Let's make that point in a minute, Sophie. Let's get to the back. I've got more questions. So let's before we introduce back up,
no worries.
Information. Do you know what 1 Timothy chapter 2 is broadly about?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to tell you yet. Without me reading to you from there, what would you say, based on your familiarity with the Bible, is the context of the verse? Which, if do you have a preferred version, King James Version, New International? Which one do you like?
New International.
Okay. We'll do the New International Version. So the New International Version, I'll just give it to you, the verse a second time. Based on your familiarity with the Bible, what do you think is meant by the person who says, I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man, she must be quiet?
Okay. So, sorry. I think it means there are many different ways. Like there's many different Christians who believe different things and interpret the Bible different ways.
Okay, just give us yours. Give us the way that you think would be the most consistent and make sense from your version of the loving Christian God. What do you think it's saying? I assume it has something to do with the question you asked us earlier, but maybe you've changed. Go ahead.
Okay. I think it means, basically what I think it's saying is that a woman can't preach to a man, which I don't think that's applicable to today's way, because my mom is a pastor.
Okay. So just so you know, the Bible definitely disagrees with you, because the principle by which your mother is prohibited from teaching is an eternal principle in the Bible. But the actual, it doesn't have to do with household, like was your first question. In fact, it's quite the opposite. 1 Timothy 2 is specifically how to gather in worship. It's essentially saying, like, here's how to form your churches, here's how to form your worship groups.
That's for public things.
The first half of it is all about, these are the way that you're going to pray. These are the things you're going to give thanks for. This is what pleases God. There's one God. Therefore, I want the men everywhere to pray. It's specifically saying the men. I also want the women to dress modestly with decency and propriety, adorning themselves, not with elaborate hairstyle or golds or pearls or expensive clothes. Even that, I mean, the fact that there's no presentation there is nothing about how crazy men are allowed to dress, which is why a lot of time preachers do look crazy and they do wear very lavish things. It only commands the women to have humble appearance in church, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. Now, I'm going to read the rest of it for you, because if you accept the New Testament is true, you accept your mother as a pastor, you need to figure out why this chapter in 2 Timothy is false. Because it says, a woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. But women will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness with propriety. In other words, you never get to be a pastor because you ruined humanity, because you are part of Eve, who was deceived, and it wasn't men who were deceived. So men are superior when it comes to issues of God. But you get redemptive quality because you can give birth. So as long as you stay faithful, that is the part you will play, birth giving, and men will continue to be the communicators with God.
Okay. So hold on. You said in the beginning where it says that women were deceived but not men. However, the serpent told Eve, hey, take a bite of this apple. Didn't Eve go to Adam and say, hey, Adam, take a bite of this apple? Which he then became deceived by the apple. By
Eve. Not the serpent.
Right, because
Satan deceived Eve. Eve, who was God's creation, deceived Adam. This is why, and you're trying to argue theology, kind of like Promise just pointed out, why the theology is dumb. We agree the theology is dumb. You're not arguing with what I'm saying. You need to argue with Timothy.
With the scripture. Yeah. And I want to ask you, you said something interesting. You said, I don't think this is relevant to today. Do you think any of the Bible is relevant to today?
Oh yeah, I think most
what method do you use to determine which parts are relevant and which parts are not?
Okay. So there's a lot in the Bible that have come true today. Like, forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, but in the Bible, it said somewhere about in Egypt or somewhere, someone finding where Jesus was buried or whatever, and it said in the Bible, don't listen to them.
Sophie, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I'm a little worried you're answering the wrong question. I think you're telling me why you think the Bible is true in general, but I'm trying to figure out how you have decided which verses you should listen to today and which ones you don't need to listen to anymore. I just want to throw out a little thing for you. You sound pretty similar to how I was. I grew up reading the Bible every day, but based on what I'm hearing, I don't know that you are that familiar with the Bible. Like, there's no apple in the Garden of Eden that's mentioned at all. And there's like other little things you've said here and there where I feel like you're I just hope that you go back and you really read it for yourself. Let me just
You
throw
have
that
a
out there. Anyways,
congregation understanding of a
yeah,
person who's not reading and studying. Maybe you've got your like, I read a verse but don't study at all. You have the like,
right.
I heard the preacher talk about Eve eating the apple.
Yeah, but there's the little
I
things
watched
like
Prince
that
of Egypt.
where if you go back and actually read it for yourself, I would be so thrilled for you. But anyways, so my question is, I'll word it again. How do you determine which Bible verses you should take seriously today and which ones you shouldn't?
Okay. Yeah, I understand you now. Sorry. So, like, I determine it because a lot of people can determine the Bible different ways. Like some Christians just don't, they read it, but they don't follow it. I would
But
say,
there's Christians that could make that argument about your mom. They could say that she read that verse in 2 Timothy, but she's not following it. So how do
you're
you
right. Yeah,
justify
definitely.
that? Right. So what is the correct way to make sure we're taking the verses seriously that we should take seriously and that we're ignoring the ones that we shouldn't pay attention to?
Okay. You're definitely right about that. My mom and I have talked about this a bunch of times because I did mention that verse to her as well. And she did say, she mentioned that, yes, people can take that in the wrong way. But I'm
Great,
sorry
but
if I
so
keep stuttering. I'm very nervous.
no,
I'm
it's
sorry.
no, it's totally okay. And these are really difficult questions. And it's also okay if you say that you just need to go think about these. If you don't, we don't want to push you into the conversation that you're not ready to have. We can also talk about the MAGA thing instead. But I think this is a question you should really think through, which is how do you justify ignoring certain verses and taking other ones very seriously?
Okay. Yeah. Now I don't ever justify myself as ignoring certain verses. However, there are different verses in the Bible that were applicable to back then during Bible times that aren't just applicable to right now.
How do you know?
Back then.
How do you know that they're not applicable to right now? And how do you know which ones are applicable to right now?
Because in the Bible, like there's this one verse, I think it's in the 10 Commandments, where it says, "Thou shalt not ever cheat on your spouse." That is applicable to any time in the world. Okay.
No, wait.
It says thou
wait.
shalt. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. This is
It
another
doesn't
thing.
say that. Yeah.
Not only that, do you know what in the same area the Bible preaches about women and their rights to their body around the same times of the commandments that you are incorrectly citing? There is no thou shalt not cheat on your wife. There's a don't lust and don't commit adultery. But there are ways to have additional wives. Okay. Spouse, fine. You do know that
it doesn't say that then.
Men, yeah, adultery is not what you're describing, and men have ways to get additional. God gave Solomon wives and concubines, or allowed it. I shouldn't say gave, allowed it. Allowed him to have the power to have hundreds of wives and concubines. And David had a bunch as well. You said like it applied to back then. Do you feel like that in the entire Bible, you are reading the story of a loving God who cares about women?
Yes, he cares about everybody else, everybody on this earth.
But
okay, can I read you some more verses?
Can I clarify really quickly about the adultery one too, and then you can say that? Because Sophie, it's specifically talking about like if you go actually read the verse within the context, which I think is what Christians are wanting us to do. It's adultery means having sex with another married woman, and the reason that God forbid that the reason that law was there was because that was messing with another man's property. So it wasn't saying don't cheat on your spouse. It was specifically that men shouldn't go sleep with somebody else's property. If it's an unmarried woman, the Bible didn't say shit about that there. So that verse, that commandment, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. That commandment was about protecting another man's property. It was
Actually,
not a commandment
Can I
to,
slightly disagree?
sure.
You don't actually disagree. You're gonna agree that the wording you used, I'm being pedantic about, but in a way that I find meaningful, because I know you agree with this. The wording I disagree with is that it doesn't speak about a woman who doesn't have a husband. Oh, it does, and it's way worse. It's way worse.
I mean, that commandment doesn't.
Yeah.
That commandment is specifically about not fucking with another guy's property.
Can I read you some scriptures? You're not worried about the scriptures, right, Sophie? They would never come to haunt you. Okay.
No.
Good. This is in Deuteronomy. Do you like Deuteronomy? Because that's the same area of the book you're getting a lot of these commandments from.
Yeah.
And again, you think it's a loving God who cares about women and protects them, correct?
Yeah, he cares about everyone on this earth.
Excellent. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives. Would a loving God allow a woman, force a woman, to marry her rapist as long as the rapist can afford it?
Okay. So, no, but
Right.
you're right. No, he wouldn't. But
Okay.
there's always going to be sin in the world because of Adam and Eve and what they
Nope,
did.
no,
There's always going to be sin.
Sophie, we're not talking about sin. All of us, it's using the word rape. We acknowledge it's saying rape. Always there being sin in the world is not justification for thus saith the Lord, marry your victim, rape victim, marry your rapist, and rapist, marry your victim. Do you know why that was the remedy?
Because ultimately, there's a child conceived out of that. And
nope, it doesn't talk about a
ultimately-
child at all.
That's another worse verse where it talks about the bitter waters and you're supposed to poison her and all of it gets worse if we get into that.
None of it's about a baby, in fact. The reason why it was the remedy is because the remainder of Deuteronomy, the verses leading up, makes clear. Let me ask you this, Sophie. If a woman is raped and has never had sex with a man before, is she no longer a virgin?
Yes.
She is not a virgin?
She's
A
no
woman
longer a
who has
virgin.
had unconsensual sex has lost her virginity?
Yes, ultimately.
Disgusting. Sophie, what a misogynistic patriarchal position you've put. The idea that you can lose your virginity without consent, but at least you agree with God. Because the remainder of Deuteronomy is essentially establishing that only women with their virginity intact have marriage value. And if they don't have their virginity intact, they no longer have marriage value. And in fact, one of the things that is in this is essentially that it's not rape if the woman didn't scream. That even establishing that it is rape only exists if the woman screamed and somebody heard her scream.
Yeah, it's even more about somebody hearing her.
Yes, a witness has to have heard she screamed, otherwise it wasn't rape. Literally, Sophie, this is why we think it's important that you give up on trying to make the book work. You are currently defending rape culture right now, and I don't think you want to do that.
Why wouldn't a loving God, like you keep saying, say in there, hey, don't do that. That's horrible. And if that happens to a woman, the community should take care of her and should outcast the man. And like what? It's literally doing the opposite of what a loving God would do.
Okay. You know, sorry, I hear where you're coming from.
I hope it's
God
burning
is
your
loving.
soul.
Well, it's not where we're coming from. We're reading you your own Bible and we're presenting you some facts about the very thing that you're trying to defend. So this is not even we could not even share our own opinion and just read these things to you and ask you questions. So it's not really a place that we're coming from. We're presenting some reality to you.
Sophie, the perfect counter for you right here, if we're talking about where people are coming from, we find this book disgusting and forgiving of rape because it says it's forgiving of rape and that rape's okay. Your perfect counter would be to show us we're wrong by pointing us to the verse where rape is prohibited, because you will find that the only prohibitions of rape in this book are against married women and women who the father has already promised that woman to another man, because the Bible establishes that marriages are property transfers. Those are the only, you're not allowed to rape a person who belongs to another man. Otherwise, here I am giving you the book and verses where it actually tells you, if that isn't the case, here's how you're allowed to rape, and if you get caught, what you have to do. But if you have the counter, show me where you're coming from of where the book clearly prohibits rape. That's the one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm very nervous. I don't like confrontation. I just hate arguing.
We're not trying to argue. I'm legitimately trying to help set you up for success. Could we talk? Sophie, do you think your mom would ever call? Your mom, you said, is a pastor. I'd platform her. If you wanted, we could even do Promise, if Promise agreed to it, but we could do a one-on-one or a 2v2 where equal time is giving out. We would love to have a debate-style conversation with a pastor if you feel like that would be the person to actually represent this. Or if she would get on the phone, I would take your mom too.
Yeah, she's not here right now. I actually live alone. But
okay,
I would love that. That would be great.
Yeah, will you talk to her about it? Do you feel like right now you need time to think about what we've brought up and how those things sit with you?
Yeah. You know what? I will definitely do that. I will go look at my Bible and I will read through it. And
okay.
I've actually written down all the verses that you said. I will
Deuteronomy 22, you read that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Would you also do 1 second? 22's got a lot. I think it's the chapter prior. Yeah. Deuteronomy 21. Deuteronomy 21 is really rough. It's the one before that. This is basically Moses's instructions from God that when the Israelites go to war, they should kill every man, every non-virgin woman. They should basically kill everybody except for the virgin women. And then verses 10 on or I think it's like 10 to 15 or so. Verses 10 to 15 talk about how amongst those captives, you can go and take the women whose families you've killed as your wives, and the women don't have a choice in it. But if after you give her you shave her head, you give her a little bit of time to grieve, if once she's done grieving, you bang her, because it says that's the way that you're establishing that she's your wife in the Old Testament. I'm sure you're aware of that. If not, you can read those places too. If after the full month of mourning, when you go in to have sex with her, if you find you don't want her to be your wife anymore because you're not enjoying the sex, you basically get to go and send her off into society. She gets to be free with a shaved head and a mark of this is not a virgin anymore, which is, again, we've already established is how they establish value. She basically gets to go live a life without her family, isolated from that society, if you just find that a month wasn't enough time for her to forgive you for murdering her whole family. And she wasn't super down to fuck you at that point. Sophie, I definitely hope you read these and then you call in with not whether or not you think that applies today, but how that was a loving creator giving those commandments in that day. Even if it only applied back then, if that's the same God that exists now today, how that God isn't terribly evil.
Also, Sophie, I just was going to say, if you want to send, if you feel up to it, if you want to send an email to evewasframed.contact@gmail.com. Jimmy's going to make fun of me for how long that email address is. But if you want to send an email there, or you can try to DM me on Instagram. I probably won't see it, unfortunately. But if you send the email, I have a book that's about to come out. It's called Gospel of Lies. But we have such similar backgrounds enough that I think it might be interesting to you. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And I want to find a way to get you a copy. So if you want to email me there, and nobody else do that, please, because this is only for Sophie. So
yeah, contact@qnaline.com as well if you need us for anything, especially setting up. If your mom is willing to have an on-air discussion, would love it.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely email you that. I would definitely email you. I would love to read your book. That sounds amazing.
Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much,
Sophie.
Sophie. Thanks for calling.
Ours. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I hope she actually does read my book. I think it might be a little helpful.
John in Canada, you call in a lot and you seem to have a strange obsession with promise. What's the deal, dude? Are we going to have to get a restraining order?
That's why I asked a question.
That's all right.
Besides, you and I
John, have we not banned you from the line before?
Well, it's your show. You decide.
Did I already decide and you're taking advantage of a new phone number or the possibility that I forgot?
I do not know. I'm not the host.
Okay. You don't know if we told you you're banned from ever calling again. All right, word. John, what question? John is a he, him. It's very important that you all know his pronouns. John, he, him. Those are his pronouns. And he wants to make sure that you know his pronouns are he, him. Thank you for that, John. John in Canada, he, him. What's your question for Promise?
I'd like to know if she is a feminist and why.
So you've already tried to
you
call and talk to me several times, and I think you can have this conversation with Jimmy.
Well, John, what's the definition of John? What's the definition of feminism? What does it mean to be a feminist?
Okay, so doesn't it mean that women are equal to men?
Yeah, so what do you think? Do you think, based on that description, do you think I'm a feminist?
Well, I suspect that you are.
As a
Am I
woman.
wrong?
What do you think would be in my best interest?
Well, I'm not your father. It's not my role to tell you what's in your best interest. You decide for yourself.
Is it her father's role? You just
Bro,
said you decide for yourself, but it's your
35 years
father's
old.
role. Also, can you turn off the show in the background this long and you've called in this many times, you still don't know how to fucking use it?
I didn't understand what you just said. And
do you remember the time you called in as Peter and you thought we wouldn't recognize your distinct voice? That was pretty funny, wasn't it? Was that because you did know you were banned and you were trying to evade it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I still hear myself in the background, by the way. So, John, you've said that you believe feminism means the belief that women are equal to men. Do you believe women are equal to men?
I believe that men and women are two different creatures, and we both
that
have
wasn't
our
the question.
Roles to play.
Wait, you believe they're two different creatures? Okay, so I know that I know I'm a Homo sapien. What would that make Promise?
She's a Homo sapien too.
So we're not different creatures. And John, you and I are both men. Does that mean you and I are the same creature?
We're both part of the human race, but we're both men, and we're different from...
Okay, well, Promise and I are both part of the human race as well. So what does this even mean? So again, your question was, you said women are equal to men is the definition of feminism. Do you believe women are equal to men?
Not in certain ways, no.
Not in what?
Not in certain ways.
What specific certain ways do you believe women are not equal to men that would disqualify a person from being a feminist?
Well, for one thing, we're stronger than they are. We're stronger and we're tougher.
No. Don't say we, John. You're not. I can tell Promise could beat you up easy. I can hear it in your voice. You're weak. John, you're weak.
You could never take me in a fight. I'm saying that right now. You couldn't.
John, you're 5'6". Okay, let's be so clear. You're 5'6".
How could you possibly know that?
I know. Aren't you surprised that I figured that out? I love that you're. How did you know, Jimmy? How did you know, John? You're 5'6". I could hold my hand on your balding head, and your arms wouldn't reach me.
Oh my God! You have no idea who you're talking to. None.
I do, John. When are we going to meet? We're going to meet up at. Are we going to meet up at the playground and settle this, John? You're so strong, and you're stronger than women.
Oh, I see.
What percentage?
I see now. I see now that I'm talking to a 12-year-old, not to an adult.
What percentage of women are stronger than the average man?
Jimmy, I'm saying this right now. The average male
What
MMA
percentage? What are you saying? MMA, the average man. What percentage of women are stronger than the average man?
Pardon me?
What percentage of women are stronger than the average man? Is it 0?
What percentage of women? Yeah.
You believe 0. You believe there is not a single woman who has attained strength higher than an average man's strength is.
There will always be exceptions, but generally men are stronger than women. It is a
So
fact.
generally doesn't matter. You're saying generally. And when we're talking about equality, when a person says they're a feminist and they say, I believe men and women are equal, do you believe they're saying that they are equal in how much they can bench?
I'm talking about inequality in everything.
That's not what feminists are talking about, so you don't know what the fuck feminists are talking about.
Are we gonna have a civilized conversation or not?
No, John, I don't respect you. You called in evading a ban. You've already admitted that. You're here anyway. You're a piece of shit incel. You think that, John, by the way, quick, you have 5 seconds to answer. How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot tall.
No, you're not. You fucking liar. Oh my fucking God. No, you're not, John.
You have no idea
John,
who I look. How
I do know.
like.
I do know. I do. John,
You have no
I will
idea.
bet you.
You have
Okay,
no idea
then,
who you're
John.
talking to.
John, $200 if you can prove to me you're 6 feet tall.
How can I do that over the phone? How can I possibly?
You can't over the phone. We'll have to do it off air. First, we're going to have to verify who you are. We're probably going to have to meet on video on some sort of Zoom call. And then you're going to have to go somewhere. You're going to have to bring a tape measure and you're going to have a second person there. But for $200, you're going to have to prove that without shoes on, without lifts, without anything, that you stand 6 feet tall.
You know, if you can't defend your position, you have to resort to insulting me. That means that you have
So,
to
John,
stand up, which means that I win the argument.
$300, John.
I win the
Okay,
argument.
sure,
because
John. You won, John. You won the
I
argument.
win.
300.
I'm glad you did that.
Okay, great. Yeah, John, you win. Feminism is dead. $350. We doing it?
Jimmy, I am not going to play this game with you. Okay?
$500. 500 dead ass. $500. 500 to your 0. You don't even have to pay me back. You don't even have to pay me $500 if I'm right. All you have to do is I will pay you $500 to give me definitive proof that you are 6 feet tall.
And what would I have to do? What would I have to do, Mr. Jimmy?
I already told you. I already told you. It's going to take 2 people. There's going to have to be a video. You're going to have to record yourself. We're going to go with 2 tape measures. And you're going to line it up on the wall. First thing you're going to do is with a zoomed out thing, you're going to line up on the wall and use a big Sharpie marker and mark where 6 feet on that wall is. And then you're going to stand against it and we're going to see if your head reaches it.
Jimmy, I have only one thing to say to you. I have nothing to prove to you or to anyone else. Have a good day.
John, you've already told us on previous calls you're broke. There's no fucking way if you're 6 feet tall, you're not taking this free $500. I don't respect
you. This is the guy that every time he's called in the past, he is trying to talk about. Did he really?
He hung up.
I wish I could make that money.
God. No, I wasn't. So here's the thing, guys. I don't have an extra $500 to throw around like that. I just know John's not 6 feet tall. I made a bet I was not willing to back. If it had happened, I mean, I would have had to figure out how to make it work. I'm not a welcher either. I just knew that there was 0 risk.
Can we get him actually banned now? Because every time he calls, he's trying to talk to me about my relationship and make some comment about it in a super creepy way.
From Canada, John from Canada too. He has been evade banning. So here's the thing, guys. I've been shitty to people. I've made it. In that one video, there was a different guy who called in with a clear speech impediment, and I just couldn't resist. And he was an awful Nazi, and I made fun of his voice by repeating it back to him. This is not the point of why I'm about to bring up John's speech impediment. Know that that's not where we're going. John tried to call in as someone named Peter and thought he would be able to do a voice and we wouldn't recognize it was him. But here is the difference if I were to do that. Say I were to call you, Promise, and this is me calling you usually. Hey, how are you doing? This is the amount of change I would do if I was John calling in. Hey, how are you doing? It was the same amount of change. Like, you have a distinct voice.
That's like
because of a speech impediment. That's not your fault. I feel bad for you. You were clearly bullied for it. And now, as an adult, like ages old of time, you took your victimhood as a bully and have become a bully yourself. That's why you're a right-wing MAGA Canadian.
Have you talked to Adam / Ulrich / somebody else? I don't remember the other names from Croatia.
I have in the past. He might be one of the 13. We have block signals we send out.
He has a very distinct accent, but he talked to, I think Matt was on with me, and then whatever happened, maybe Matt hung up on it. He calls back like 2 callers later with a different name, also changes absolutely nothing about his voice or argument, and then continues to say, no, I'm not Adam. I'm not that person. So weird when people just use the same voice and think that's somehow going to work.
Yeah. All right. This one's going to be quick. MAGA or Christians, if you have, we have 20 minutes left in the show. Now would be the time to call in if you're wanting to get on the line. This one's going to be super class, super quick. I mean, Elijah in Pennsylvania, you are on the line with Jimmy and Promise. What's up, Elijah?
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
Just fine.
Good. Yeah, so I've been watching you guys for a while now. I guess I've been watching The Line and also your show maybe for about, I guess, the past 2 years. And I really like watching your live streams and stuff. I always turn on your show, you know, when I'm watching dinner at night.
The glazing is doing the opposite of what you're hoping it's going to do. It's making me resent you, so I would just jump forward. I don't like the compliment. I can't stand it, actually. So let's jump into your points.
Okay. So I'm an independent now, and I'm still like studying different political positions. I'm not like fully against socialism. I do like, some things about socialism. So my question is about this. So like in one of your recent live streams, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, you were arguing of socialism with somebody, and you had said that socialism would tax the rich, and like you would like take all of that money and like use it to end homelessness and like free healthcare for everybody.
That's like a transitional stage to socialism. In general, in a socialist society, the words would change, but you would describe essentially everybody as being taxed, but it's not quite that way because everybody's participating in a collective system in the first place. But yes, in the sort of transitional state here in the short term, while we need to pass something like socialized healthcare, you would, by whatever means necessary, you would pay for a lot of the social programs we need now by taxing the rich.
Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So there's this guy that I follow on YouTube, and he also lives in my city. He's a Second Amendment advocate. His name is Maj Toure. Have you ever heard of him before?
No, and I'm not really interested in people calling in to. I don't think your question's actually because you want a discussion. I kind of think you're just calling in to promote your buddy's channel. So I'd like to actually get to your question if that's not the case.
No. I'm not trying to promote him. I was because bringing him up actually connects what I'm talking about, because he made a video back in February titled "Black New Yorkers Get a Taste of Real Socialism, and Now They're Furious." So like basically in this short 4-minute video, he was talking about I think his name is Zaram Mandani, the guy in New York.
Yes, that is the name of the guy in New York. I am not going to fact check your recollection of a video where you think a guy made good points, where I can't live check what the individual points were. The question you told the screener is, you said that he was only going to tax rich people, but now he's taxing the middle class. It isn't true. He has not raised taxes on the middle class. He has presented specifically tax hikes on rich people, and then has said there are programs we have to pass that are so important that if the governor tries to get in the way, the other option would be a property tax increase, which could then include, but would disproportionately hit the wealthy, could include the middle class. That is a threat that he is using to try and use as leverage. He has not raised the taxes on middle class. Otherwise, I'm not going to be fact checking your buddy's YouTube channel live on air through your recollection. That's a useless exercise.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that he threatened to tax the middle class, but he hasn't done it
No,
yet?
that's not what I just said. I said he is using as leverage a property tax that would disproportionately hit the rich. It could, some people middle class who are property owners in New York City, which is a rare class to be in because it's almost impossible unless you're rich to be a property owner there. That is his leverage of like, we need these programs. If you actually try to block us from doing it, this would be the only alternative. He has never, said that taxes wouldn't go up at all for the middle class. He never actually said that, but he is not, as you put, he's now taxing the middle class. That hasn't happened. And this is a thing that is over a year away from even potentially having to call that bluff if it is a bluff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just that's one of the things I wanted to call in to clarify because I wasn't sure. It just sounds like I guess it sounds like the guy that I listened to he fell for some propaganda. I don't,
How would I know?
Wait, why aren't you just like following the news? Why are you calling YouTubers and watching 4-minute clips to inform yourself? That's really concerning.
You're calling into my problem that I have here is that you're calling me to fact check a video that I am not actively fact checking, but you say you've watched the show and you've been a big fan. Somehow our big fans of the shows are not internalizing that when a person makes a claim, I should go fact check it. Instead, you're getting hit with this challenge and you're going, this person made a claim. I'm going to fact check it by doing a poor recollection of the claim made to a YouTube show. Like I'm not trying to be a dick here, but this is the weirdest reasoning to call in. How have you not fact checked first before trying to challenge me? Now he's taxing the middle class. Why didn't you fact check if he even is taxing the middle class first?
Well, because I thought it was true.
Jeff, stop making dumb points in chat.
I saw the news clip of the black people protesting about it, so that's why I thought it was true. Okay, and again, you're recalling something to me that we don't know. We don't know. The black people tells me nothing as well about their political alignments, whether or not, just so you know, in New York, there is a robust group of people that for religious reasons are mostly black and are not a fan of Muslims. So if you're just like impressed that you found a group of black people who don't like Mom Donnie, that doesn't impress me either. But I don't know. All I'm asking is if you're going to say they've raised taxes, and the dumb point I was going to make to Jeff's in chat deciding once again, we've made so much progress and it's like 10 steps forwards, 20 steps back. Jeff in chat said, you're not in New York, you don't know. You think you have to be in New York to look up what tax policy is, Jeff? Are you fucking kidding me? By the way, Jeff, you know who else isn't in New York? Elijah. Look at the fucking screen. He's in Pennsylvania. Jeff, you're doing a dumb again. You're doing a dumb again. Anyway, Elijah, you got to fact check your shit before you call in and ask me to defend the thing you didn't fact check.
And then you should still fact check what we say on here.
No, I'm perfect. You don't need to do that.
Okay, not Jimmy, but me.
It's just a waste of time. It's always going to be 100% right, 100% true. Never will I even miss nuance. It's not like I have autism and sometimes can't help but miss nuance. Anyway, Elijah, I'm legitimately not trying to be mean, but I want people to be learning from this channel to go fact check. And I feel like your introduction actually has ended up making me feel like a failure and that I failed you. So now I'm telling you directly, go fucking fact check.
Okay. I did have a question for Promise though.
She's married, dude. Be cool.
No. I'm not trying to flirt or anything like that. So, if I remember correctly, she
still
said
in John mode.
One of her past live streams that she moved to Finland and that she currently lives there now, and that I think she said that she likes the politics and like they're more like socialists or something like that. Is that true?
They have way more. First of all, their government is significantly better than ours. They have way more social programs. Sorry, I am in Finland and it's almost midnight my time, so now I'm losing my mind. But yes, they have a lot more social programs that are working really well over here.
Finland's referred to as a mixed economy social democracy. A lot of people will use they use a thing called the Nordic model to categorize them. They technically are capitalist because they have enough capitalism that they're not mostly socialist. However, they have a lot of socialism because while they have pretty high taxes and they have big social programs, that technically wouldn't make you socialist, because a socialist country, the terminology and things would change and it wouldn't necessarily be tax and income.
What's your question specifically about that?
So do you think if a black person wanted to move to Finland, do you think the black person would fare well in Finland, or like is there like a lot of racism still going on over there, or what?
I would say that Finland. I don't think the systemic racism is nearly what it is in the US here, but I couldn't speak to that, and I haven't been here long enough to know what my position on that would be. I will say I think Finns have a lot to learn about race from my limited experience. I would say that is one of the main weaknesses. However, I don't think it plays out systemically like it does in the US.
This is true of most of the Nordic model countries. As a black person,
everybody
if you get
here,
there,
I look like I'm walking around here and people are like, oh my gosh, this is like a person with brown eyes and brown hair. Like, I already stand out. Everybody here is the whitest person, and that, obviously comes with issues.
Your entitlement and treatment from the government is likely to be more the same, except for that there will be racist dicks that you have to talk to. But most of the Nordic countries, including Finland, have big societal racism problems.
And from what I've heard from some of my, the very few friends that I have here that have had experience here that are people of color, it's a lot more like prejudice, and there are some outright racism. If you go, there's a crazy story from last year about, I think it was Miss Finland or something like that, and racism towards Asian people and all this stuff came out, and so they're right wing, which is, they have their own clowns here. They responded so horribly. It was a disaster. So that would give you some insight if you want to go look up that story and read about it. But I definitely think that's a problem. But the issue is when people try to bring that up and say, well, that's why Finland is doing well, is because they're racist. Those are very...
Yeah, those guys are dicks. By the way, the government of Finland has an active anti-racism government program going on right now. So there's already, that's a thing we wouldn't do in the US. And Finland acknowledges the problem. But again, from a government standpoint and a daily life standpoint, your quality of life as a black person in Finland will be a higher standard than American black people would expect.
Correct.
But you will be in a very small minority, because the entire non-white population of Finland is less than 10%. I can't remember what the exact number is, but you'll be an extreme minority, and you will probably face a lot of societal shit. But
there are actually several content creators out there that are immigrants that have moved to Finland that are people of color. I wish I could remember some of their handles right now, but if you go look this up, and they're sharing about their experiences constantly. Their content is really cool. One of them, she's the president of Finland follows her on Instagram. I'm so jealous, but she opened up a whole business where she has multiple, what is it called? Spin class? Like where they have the bicycles or whatever, the spin class things. And she's opened those up all over the country, you know. So she's excelled as an entrepreneur here and done really well. And so I'm hearing the different perspectives, but I am probably one of the worst people to ask that question because I'm just relaying other people's information. So like we were saying about this other stuff, I recommend going to the source. Go look up the statistics. Go look up the policies that Finland has on this. Go hear from actual immigrants that aren't white on their experience.
Yeah, the only reason I'm at all familiar with it is I've been now for years also debating the people who want to call in and go, the only reason socialism is effective in those countries is because the countries are racist, and so you have to familiarize yourself with those things. I also had kind of a long distance thing with a person in the Netherlands, but that's a different place. It's not, guys, just so you know, all these countries, the Netherlands, Norway, all these things like in that area, they're all the same fucking place and they're all the same people and they're exactly alike. There's no cultural differences.
I'm Finnish enough now that makes me so angry to hear. So
they're all the same. There's no difference. They're all, and you know what?
Please go even just listen to the languages.
You know who else is the same? Irish and Scottish people. Irish, Scottish, and British people.
Have fun
same
with
people,
that.
same.
You're gonna get death threats now.
I am Irish, Scottish, and British, and you know what? No one can tell the different parts of me apart. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
What about Germany?
We're just going to chill with that. All right. Germany's got they've got that special thing in Germany. They are different.
Okay.
We're not going to make these jokes about any Axis powers. Okay. We're just having fun here. And I'm just trying to get canceled by the Irish. All right. Elijah, that's all we got. I think if you've got a last question, we can go forward.
I'll just say this one last thing. I'll see if I can get some Christian apologists to try to call in and debate you guys, because it's like
is your dad MAGA?
Matt Slick. No, I'm not MAGA. Most of my family, I don't think anybody in my family is MAGA. No.
Are any of them religious?
Most of the people, yeah. Majority of my family are Christian, but majority of my family are Democrats. I think the majority of Black American Christians are Democrats.
Cool. Yeah.
Send us the apologists. We'd love to talk to them.
To the person who said they'd offer me $500 to find the Netherlands on the map. Thank you, Elijah. We're gonna let you go there.
All right. Have a good one.
On an unmarked map. The only reason you would lose this is not because I am very good at knowing. I can identify a country from seeing pictures within the country because I've played that game a bunch.
What's that Google thing that
I did a VR version of it. I don't remember what it's called.
You're stupid good at this.
Yeah.
Stupid. Like you can see the dirt and you're like, oh, I know what country this is.
Not the dirt quite, but plants. I definitely take plants. Light poles are a lot of what I look at too. There's a lot of things. Anyway, there is an inlet into the Netherlands of water. What is the name of the sea up there by the Netherlands? It's not just called the North Sea. It is.
Are you talking about the Baltic Sea?
No, I think I'm talking about the North Sea. It kind of looks like a diagram of the prostate into the anus. Like the inlet looks like a diagram of the anus ending at the prostate, and the prostate looks like a little island. So the person who said they would offer me $500, you picked the wrong country, because I would just go look for the prostate. As a loving partner would do. Anyway, we're headed over to the Line as a Podcast. Promise you're welcome to join for the first couple minutes, but I don't think you will. You are visibly tired.
Well, that's rude.
Not not that you look bad. That was rude. I'm sorry. I worded that poorly.
Kidding.
Visibly as in your eyes are starting to list and
Did it make you want to throw
sleepy.
up seeing how I look right now?
I don't want to throw up at all.
I am going to go to sleep, but you guys should stay on for the podcast.
We're
And I'll be
headed
back
to the Line as a
next
Podcast
Monday
to cover the news. It's going to be a good time. We'll probably need a minute to get set up, but yeah. That is the prostate. The island in the North Sea is, yes,
And
people are
Finland's the
confirming
little
it's the North
shrimp.
Sea.
Well, kind of the big shrimp hanging out up there too.
It's more of a
It's like a fried shrimp.
What's the name of those? A prawn. Finland's the prawn.
Yeah.
Isn't a prawn just a big shrimp?
It's a fried prawn.
To tell you the truth, Finland would be the one I'd have a better chance of missing. You saying
Really?
the prawn? Yeah. I Finland's hard to remember where it is.
It's on the border of Russia.
And nothing
I don't feel
else. They're saying blank map. I don't think we even have lines. Do we have lines on a blank map? I think it's saying just poke it. Okay, here's dead ass truth. I live in Austin. If you take the highways off of the map and ask me to poke it, I bet I'm off by 100 miles.
Yeah.
Texas
Fair
is
enough.
big, so that's extra hard.
Right.
Denver, I could probably do better because I've got some. No. Wait, lines off. I wouldn't know where Wyoming is. I couldn't poke where I live. And Finland is smaller than everything.
No, it's not.
Physically, it's not smaller than Colorado.
No, it's bigger than Norway. No, I mean over where it is. Like you can.
I'm saying relative to states where I'm trying to point. I think it's smaller than Colorado and Texas, which is where I've been living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's bigger than Texas. Anyways, whatever.
Anyway, go ahead and send that
Join us next time,
$500
guys.
to my PayPal because I told you about the prostate island. Ari, I will see you tomorrow. I'm excited for it. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye, guys.